In the middle of the Utah desert, there is a 512-acre plot of land that science cannot explain. Cows vanish into thin air, bulletproof wolves roam the fields, and the wormhole sits silently above the mesa, watching. The government spent $22 million trying to weaponize the paranormal activity here. They failed. Not because the phenomena weren't real, but because of the Hitchhiker Effect. When you visit the ranch, you don't just leave with memories. Something leaves with you. Part 1. The Unkillable Wolf. Location: Winter Basin, Utah. Date: August 12, 1994. Terry Sherman had just bought the ranch. He was a cattle rancher, a man of logic and hard work. He didn't believe in ghosts. On his third day, he saw a wolf. It was massive, 3 times the size of a timber wolf, standing near the livestock pen. It looked calm, too calm. Terry whistled at it. The wolf trotted over to him, wagging its tail like a pet dog. His family watched from the porch, amazed. The creature was beautiful. Then, without warning, the wolf lunged. It didn't attack Terry. It attacked a calf, biting its head through the bars of the corral. Terry grabbed his .357 Magnum and fired. Bang! The bullet hit the wolf in the ribs. Dust flew off its fur, but the wolf didn't bleed. It didn't even flinch. Terry fired again and again. 3 shots at point-blank range. The wolf let go of the calf. It turned its head slowly and looked at Terry with eyes that were terrifyingly human. It didn't growl. It just turned around and walked away calmly, vanishing into the tall grass. When Terry checked the ground, there was no blood, but there was a piece of flesh torn from the wolf by the bullet. It didn't smell like animal meat. It smelled like rotten sulfur. Part 2. The Triangle Above. Location: NIDS command trailer on the ranch. Date: 4 years later. Dr. Colm Kelleher adjusted the infrared cameras. He was part of the scientific team hired by billionaire Robert Bigelow to study the ranch. They had turned the place into a laboratory. Cameras, radiation sensors, magnetic field detectors. Across the ranch, hear the cows wailing like a disc playing on fast forward. Radio crackled. Activity spike in Sector 2. The cows are screaming. Colm looked at the monitor. It was 3 a.m. On the thermal camera, he saw a black void appearing in the sky above the mesa. It wasn't a cloud. It was a perfect triangle of darkness that blocked out the stars. "Is that a craft?" his assistant asked. "No," Colm whispered, checking the radiation readings. "It's a hole, a tear in reality." Through the thermal lens, they saw something drop from the triangle. It looked like a humanoid figure, but it moved like a spider, crawling rapidly down the cliff face toward the cattle pen. "Get the team out there," Colm shouted. "Intercept it." But before the security team could reach the pen, the entity vanished. When they arrived, they found a cow. It wasn't dead. It was inside out, surgically precise, not a drop of blood on the ground. Part 3. The Infection. The team didn't find the entity, but that night, things started happening inside the command trailer. Files moved on their own. Heavy equipment was unplugged. Voices whispered from speakers that weren't connected to power. But the worst part was the dreams. Every member of the team had the same dream that night. They dreamt of a faceless man standing at the foot of their bed, telling them, "You are not the observer. You are the experiment." The next morning, Colm woke up with claw marks on his back, 3 distinct lines burning red. He realized then that the ranch wasn't just a location, it was a sentient intelligence, and it was playing with them. Part 4. Bringing it home. The project was shut down. The phenomena were too dangerous, too unpredictable. The scientists packed up and went back to their lives, to Las Vegas, to Washington, D.C., to Virginia. But they made a fatal mistake. They thought they could leave the anomaly behind in Utah. Dr. Kelleher returned to his home in Virginia. 2 weeks later, his wife called him at work, screaming, "There's a wolf in the yard, Colm! A giant wolf!" Colm froze. "Stay inside, lock the doors." When he got home, the wolf was gone, but the hitchhiker effect had begun. His children started seeing shadow people in the hallways. Poltergeist activity tore their kitchen apart. The entity from the ranch had latched on to Colm's consciousness and followed him across the country. He called the other team members. It was happening to all of them. Their families were being haunted. One security guard's car had spontaneously combusted in his driveway. They hadn't just studied a ghost story. They had become carriers of a paranormal virus. Part 5. The Basement Tape. Date: present day. Location: a secure server room, Nevada. The screen flickered to life. It was a leaked video file from the ranch's security system, time-stamped October 31, 2024. It showed a team of new researchers digging into the mesa. They were using ground-penetrating radar. The radar showed a massive metallic dome buried under the ridge. It wasn't a cave, it was an artificial structure. As the drill hit the object, a beam of purple light shot out of the ground, blinding the camera. The audio picked up a sound, not an explosion, but a voice. Thousands of voices speaking in unison. The video cut to static. The narrator's voice returned. The ranch was never haunted. The ranch is a lid, and whatever is buried under that mesa keeps knocking to get out. Epilogue: the warning. Location: unknown. A man sat in a dark room, his face blurred. He was a former intelligence officer. We call it a precognitive sentient habitat. It knows you're coming before you do. It knows what scares you. And if you dig too deep, it doesn't just scare you, it changes you. He held up a photo of the ranch. Don't go looking for the Skinwalker, because once you look at it, it never stops looking at you.